My name is Teacher Arvin, and I am very excited to bring you today's lesson. So set your mind, ready your heart, and brace yourselves, for we will take the journey to discover the week 8 of 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. Before we will proceed to our discussion, let us first answer the following questions. Number 1, what do you expect to learn about world literature? Number 2, who is an international author you have known and what are some of his or her literary works? Number 3, what culture, tradition, and belief system would you like to learn about if you were to travel abroad? Number 4, what do you expect to learn from studying world literature? Lastly, if you were to travel back in time to the Philippine period, what specific period would you like to visit and what would you bring to the present that you think would be significant to Generation Z? For today's lesson, we will focus on the introduction to world literature. Most essential learning competency in focus. Writing a close analysis and critical interpretation of literary texts, applying a reading approach, and doing an adaptation of these requires from the learner the ability to identify representative texts and authors from Asia, North America, Europe, and Asia. Now, the subtask or sub-objectives for today's lesson, students must be able to: number 1, understand the nature of world literature; number 2, recognize notable authors from around the world; number 3, appreciate the contribution of these authors and texts to the development of world literature. Before we will proceed to our discussion, let us first answer the following. What do you think is the answer for number 1? That's right, that's North America. How about number 2? Correct, it's Europe. How about number 3? That's correct, Asia. How about number 4? That's also correct, that's Australia. And how about number 5? That's right, it's Africa. And how about number 6? That's correct, that's Antarctica. And lastly, number 7? That's great, it's South America. In world literature, we will be learning different literary pieces on the 7 continents. We have North America, we have Europe, we also have Asia, Australia, Africa, South America, and Antarctica. What is meant by world literature? What is world literature? Now, world literature is the totality of all national literature. World literature is a broad, general term used to refer to works of literature written in multiple languages and cultures. Now, the formation of literature in different countries happened not at the time, which relates to the emerge of writing and artistic creativity. This can include dramatic works, novels, poetry, and even historical writings. It is an attempt to encompass the diverse literary products of different cultures and create shared literary discourse. World literature encourages readers to explore and appreciate different perspectives. The phrase world literature was first introduced by German scholar and poet Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, which also introduced the phrase world literature. Now, it is in the preface of his novel Wilhelm Meister's Apprenticeship. In this preface, he aims to explain the concept of world literature in a way that allows readers to access and enjoy a universal form of literature. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe was a German writer, artist, and politician. He was one of the most influential authors of the German Romantic movement. His best-known works include Faust and Sorrows of Young Werther. He was also a scientist, authoring major works on botany, anatomy, and optics. He was a prominent figure in post-Enlightenment culture and regarded as one of the greatest in German literature. Now, Goethe studied characteristic features and interrelationships of different national literatures, the tendencies of their development, and their achievements. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe on 1749 to 1832 was also a German writer, statesman, and polymath. He known or best known for his poetic dramatic Faust. He was a key figure of Sturm and Drang literary movements and the Wilhelm criticism period in German literature. He also works of philosophy, autobiography, science fiction, and travelogues and novels. His influence extended far beyond the confines of his homeland, and he remains one of the most acclaimed figures in German literary history. Now, von Goethe also studied the works of famous writers which presented different literary phenomena of different historic periods. Von Goethe also claimed that literature shouldn't be restrained by national boundaries. So it means that we do have different literary pieces from different nations, but we should be united as one with our literary pieces. Here are some of the literary works of Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, wherein he studied Sanskrit literature of India, the Islamic religious translation or Islamic writings. Other also includes Serbian epic poetry translation, translated Chinese writings. In our next discussion, we will learn Asian literature, Korean literature, Japanese literature, and Chinese literature. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video lecture.